Let's talk about hair, baby. Let's talk about Sisterlocks and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about hair. Let's talk about hair. What's going on, y'all? So, I have been getting lots and lots of compliments on my hair, and I had a question from somebody about my hairstyle. So, I am here to talk about Sisterlocks and shed some of the myths that you may be under with regard to the style. So let's jump right into it. Sisterlocks. It is a trademarked hairstyle and business practice that was founded by Dr. Joanne Cornwell. I think in 1994. Don't quote me on it. I'll put the link in the website. I actually happened to be wearing my Sisterlocks t-shirt, and I didn't plan on putting it on, or talking about this video, but I started scratching my hair and I was pulling back a little dirt. I said, oh, I need to shampoo because it's itching. So here I am. I have banded my hair. Now, the technique for shampooing your hair is called banding and braiding. I don't braid it. Ultimately, what the braiding looks like is taking your locks, still in this format, and, just braiding the section. So that technically is how you're supposed to do it, but I've gotten by with just banding mine. This is my first set of locks. I'm lying. It's my second set of locks. I got my first set of locks in June 2022. And in July of 2024, I decided that I was tired of coloring my hair and no longer wanted to do that. But I've told you that I'm super impatient and like to control things. So this was one of those times that was definitely a bot lesson. So what did I do? Reached out to my stylist. Hey, I'm tired of being black. I'm just ready to go gray. Like, let's do this. Okay, Brand, it's gonna be a multi-visit experience because we have to slowly lift the color out of your hair. Okay, first, lift, beautiful color. Next lift, I felt like I looked like Mufasa from The Lion King. I felt like I had this orange, ugly color. Ultimately, I ended up spending 3 different trips to the salon, 2 different colorists to cut off all of my hair. So that was probably about, I would say $1,200 later, $1,200, and 3 months later, I cut it all off and I just started from scratch. The little blonde tips at the root or at the ends, I can't talk, are the blonde from the hair that didn't absorb the gray color. So that's why those are like that, but everything else is natural. So, first myth about Sisterlocks. If any hair is added to the lock during the installation or establishment, those terms are the actual process of taking your straight hair and locking it, putting it into a lock. If any additional hair is added to the lock, it is no longer a Sisterlock. Sisterlocks does not add any hair to their locks. If there is not a precise parting structure, it also is no longer Sisterlocks. There is a very precise parting structure that you have to use in order for it to be qualified as a Sisterlock. Also, as far as the business model goes, if you're charging for a consultation, that's where you go and you meet with the consultant. Number one, you should always have a consultation. So that's part of the business practice. However, if you're charging for it, that consultation price should be applied towards the total cost of the establishment. Subsequently, when you go for your first retie, if it is truly a Sisterlocks consultant, your first retie, that's where they take the new growth and they put it in, tie it into the lock, that cost is included in your establishment. So if you go for a consultation and they say it's $50, but it's not applied to your Sisterlocks, your total establishment price, it's not Sisterlocks. If they charge you for your first retie, it's not a Sisterlocks consultant, because that goes against their business practice. You're also supposed to get test locks put in your hair so you can determine which lock rotation, which lock pattern is really appropriate for your hair. So I've been asked, can you comb out Sisterlocks? Well, technically you can. Would I advise it? No, absolutely not. Especially depending on how long you've had your locks. You know, if they're matured and you're locked, it's going to take time. And I'm speaking from experience. When my locks became damaged from the bleaching to lift the color out, you know, they became brittle, and it changed the whole texture of the lock. They weren't as full, and they just started snapping because they were so dried out. So I, in my infinite wisdom, thought, well, I can just comb them out. I'll just try to comb them out, and then I can start all over again, you know, with some larger locks. And y'all, I had 25, 50 shades of gray, all these different manufactured colors. It was a hot mess. It wasn't until I went to the lock consultant who would do my second set of locks for a consultation that she asked, do you even like your locks? And I said, because y'all, I had gotten a lice comb and I thought I was going to do it like braids and start taking them out in the middle. And I did. So I walked in there looking like, why? Just a hot mess. And she could see all the different colors. So I started, you know, and I was sitting downstairs and started trying to comb them out. And then it was just so much hair coming out, you know, that, you know how it is when you take your braids out and you have all this hair because it's been braided and it hasn't been allowed to shed. Think about having locks for 2 years and then trying to comb them out. My first set of locks were a lot smaller than these. I think I had medium in the front, but I still think they were small. That's the other thing. When you go, you know, my lock consultant said she makes them a little bit bigger because naturally they're going to get smaller. And when you start them off too small, then, you know, it just becomes a lot. So I ended up trying to take them out, and I don't know how many I took down. And I just said, you know what? I'm India Ari, and cut them all off. Had I really been thinking and planning strategically, I should have done that in July when I said that I didn't want to have, you know, I wanted to go gray, but I did it in October, and it was about to get into the winter season, and so it was really, really cold. Don't advise that. If you're gonna make the big chop, do it in the summer. So how do I wash them? Well, what I found is, okay, there are a couple of ways to do this. Sisterlocks has their own shampoo that helps you, you know, it's starter shampoo. It helps your locks mature fast, or, you know, lock. Because the other thing with Sisterlocks, you do not put any products in your hair. The reason that you band and braid it is because you're really just focusing on the scalp. The rest of the lock can, you know, it's going to get sudsy and all of that, but you're really focusing on the scalp, but you don't really want to disturb the locks. I've had this set since April of 2025, when I went for my retie at the beginning of this month, my consultant said that she saw some of them had begun locking. And you can just tell by the way the lock looks. So, what else can I tell you about Sisterlocks? Oh, so now I've used the starter shampoo. I don't particularly, care for it. There's something mentally about, having the sudsiness of the shampoo and things. So I found this Lion Lock shampoo bar. I love it. I take it with me when I travel. Number one, I don't have to worry about, 3 ounces or anything. I was just gone for 41 days. I took this. I know that it is going to last several shampoos. It gets a nice, gets nice and sudsy. I get a nice lather, and that's it. So I'm gonna hop into the shower and I'm gonna just show you how I wash it. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me all right. And I put on a swimsuit because it's the PG channel. So basically, you just want to get your hair really, really wet. And I used to do it in the sink and just lean my head forward. However, this works better. I feel like I'm able to really get my hair wet, because I think part of maybe the lack of sudsiness sometimes may have to do with the hair not being totally saturated. So, okay. I'm gonna take one little section and I'm going to, so the Sisterlocks shampoo looks kind of like that. Got this. Can you see that? It's got a decent suds. This is, they changed the formulation. When I was out there, I didn't tell you guys. I flew out to San Diego, California in December of 2024. And I went to the Sisterlocks headquarters and I took the lock consultant 3-day training course. And it was actually taught by the founder herself, Dr. Joanne Cornwell. And she also had one of her master consultants, Cassandra Lawson, teaching the course. Dr. Cornwell's sisters came in for a visit, and the reason that Sisterlocks came about is because Dr. Cornwell is a PhD in academia, and she wanted a hairstyle for African American women that we could wear our natural hair in its natural state, that was still, professional. And so they sat at her table in her kitchen and they, started playing around with different combinations. And that's how we got the name Sisterlocks. Micro locks and things. And those, again, like I told you, the style is trademarked, okay? So other people might do the same technique, but like I said, it's a business practice, it's trademarked, and so that's what makes it Sisterlocks, and not a micro lock or any other type of lock that's out there. When you're first starting out, you do not wash your hair regularly. But us as African Americans, when my hair was not locked, I would wash it maybe once a week, maybe 2, depending on what I had done, if it was winter or summer. I would say in March of this year, my lock consultant told me to go ahead and start washing it in between my appointments, and I go about every 6 weeks. So it's about 3 weeks. I can't remember the last time that I washed my hair. I think it's definitely been since I've been back. So it may be just about at 3 weeks, because I'm coming up on 3 weeks that I've been back. So I just take the bar, like I'm doing, and just rub it around. I think I got soap in my eye too. And see, let's get this lather. I hope I'm in the right spot so you can see this. And I'm just using my fingertips. I do want to scratch just a little, but nothing crazy, because I don't want to mess with the lock. So that was the shampoo process. Now it's just drying. I don't put any conditioner in my hair because conditioner can cause your locks to slip if they've not been, you know, if they aren't mature. So no conditioner. I like to use a microfiber towel, and I did get soap in my eyes because they're red. So yeah, I got a 6-pack of these microfiber towels, and then I also like to use a little turban while I'm lotioning up so that my hair isn't dripping. I also sleep with a satin pillowcase and wear a bonnet to just, you know, protect them so they don't dry out. I did that with hair that was not locked. Some of you guys have also commented on my skin. I had just started using a new product. I went to the dermatologist a couple of weeks ago, and I've had an issue with some hyperpigmentation. And so now that my acne is under control, and I want to make sure that, I don't know, I can kind of reduce some of this hyperpigmentation. So I wear sunscreen. But my dermatologist recommended this product by Eucerin. It's the Radiant Tone Skin Line. And so this is a dual serum that I put on twice a day. There's a night cream and a daily lotion. So I've just been using those, but I do like Eucerin products. I use this regular skin calming cream as my lotion. My doctor raved about this CeraVe Invisible Mineral Sunscreen. She said you need to use a mineral sunscreen, and so I got this, and so far so good. You know, it's all pretty new. I like CeraVe products. I used to really use their facial wash and stuff. Then I kind of changed over to something. I'm just trying to be acne free. I had to take Accutane twice in my adult life over the winter, and it's so drying. And honestly, I feel like the Accutane made my skin worse while I was taking it, which is so, I don't know, it's really weird to me. So now I'm just pulling the rubber bands out of my hair because I can just pull them out, and I really don't have any hair in there, if you can see that. So I just take them out, and you want to make sure that you separate the locks, because, you know, sometimes the hairs will try to get married and become one. So it's good that you just, you know, you pop out the rubber band or cut it out however you want to do. I just pull mine off and then pull the locks apart, because they, like I said, will try to get married and become one. In order to become a Sisterlocks certified consultant, you have to do several things. You have, well, not several things, but you have requisites that you have to pass in order to be listed as a certified lock consultant on their site. So they have a site that is lists the trainees, Sisterlock trainees, as well as certified lock consultants, and then master consultants, and so forth. And it's broken down by state and city. So you can go out there and look to find out if the person who's telling you that they're a Sisterlocks consultant is truly a Sisterlocks consultant. Now, if you don't care about having this trademark style, if you don't care about any of that, then by all means, find somebody else. But it's important to understand the differences and what really makes a Sisterlocks consultant a consultant. They've gone through the training. They have submitted their completed mannequin. So this is Evangeline. And Evangeline is the mannequin that I had to take with me when I went to the class in San Diego. Now, as you can see, Evangeline, okay, so I have not worked on Evangeline very much. I want to say I've worked on a little bit, but I'm going to keep it real. I took the training class. So I took the training class not because I really wanted to do other people's locks, but more so to maintain my locks. This set, I've not started doing my own reties because honestly, I don't even think I want to do it. The first set that I had, I would do them and it would take me a week, basically like 4 to 5 days of sitting and doing probably at minimum 6 hours a day. So it's very time consuming to try to do your own head. But in order to begin the process, you have to submit pictures of your completed mannequin. Then after that, you have to submit pictures from, I want to say 3 other sets of locks that you did installations on. And like I said, the parting structure is meticulous. And if you follow it, then, your client should have the appropriate set of locks for their head, because every head is not the same size. And so you may have to adjust the sections and, there are different ways, and they teach you all of that in the training. So those are the things that, you want to look for, because there are, a lot of people out there that say, yeah, I do Sisterlocks. And yes, they learned how to do the technique, but they may not honor the business practice of it. And, and then if you get any hair added, that automatically makes it not a Sisterlock. That is the biggest thing. Like, don't add any hair. So this process is truly a process. So when I was talking to my god sister, she was like, she said she was asking because she's like, I don't know how I'm going to look with them. Well, I'm here to tell you that everybody looks kind of crazy when they first get them. My first set, my hair was probably about 10 inches when I got the installation. And so because of that, they were a little bit longer. And I put some rods at the end of them, and, it looked cute, but I still kind of looked like a chicken, because you can see a lot of scalp when you are straight out of the chair getting the installation. And that's the part that, I guess a lot of people don't really like. There was a lady that I worked with who wore a wig for the longest time. I think she had her locks for over a year before she finally took the wig off and just let them be out there. It is definitely a journey, but like all journeys, it's a beautiful journey if you don't rush it. I told my god sister when I got this set of locks that I have now, listen, I was so proud of those locks. I looked like a little chicken or something. They didn't look anything like when I got my first installation. So excited. I think we finished at like 5 o'clock in the morning and I came home and, immediately put rods in them to curl them up. My second installation, I felt like a little plucked chicken, but I was so excited that I had, cut off all my hair and was able to now get them back. The time when I cut my hair, it was, I want to say October 21st, 2024. And I had my lock establishment April 26th and 27th, that weekend of 2025. So it was 6 months for me to get 3 inches. 3 inches is about the minimum amount of hair that you need in order to get Sisterlocks. The other thing is that each lock consultant is going to have their own pricing. It ranges. Trainees may charge you a little bit less than a certified lock consultant because they need to have the experience of doing the head. And so you understand that you're going with the trainee. The first consultant that I had was a trainee. I saw another woman's locks and I said, "Oh, who are those Sisterlocks?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Do you mind giving me her information?" And so she did. And that's how I got my first lock consultant. I called her. We talked for a nice amount of time on the phone. I liked her vibe. And so then we scheduled an appointment for me to go. She put some test locks in my hair. And then I said, I knew at that point, I knew going into it that I was mentally prepared for them. I was tired of getting my hair braided and the braids only lasting for a month, and then I had to take them down and I would spend, $200, $250 on some braids for 4 weeks. So I said, all right, I'm going to go on ahead and do this. And it was a nice amount of money, $750. And so, but think about it. When I would go get my hair done at the salon, get a silk press, I would walk out of there paying upwards of like $250 after it was washed and conditioned and trimmed and blow dried and ironed out. $250 easily. And don't let me get any color. And so then I'm walking out of there. If I thought about sweating, my hair was like, it was sweating. And I was tired of putting that money into my hair, all the time. Now, Sisterlocks is expensive. You go to somebody, but it is a lengthy process. The first establishment took 32 hours. Yeah, 32 hours. We did 12 hours straight the first day. I came home, went back 20 hours the second day. Other thing about Sisterlocks, you always start in the front. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So then this time, obviously my hair was about 7 inches shorter because I had minimum 3 inches. And it was about 10 and a half hours. We could have probably completed in the first day, but she always allots 2 days for it. And so that's what we did. And yeah, I was looking like crazy, but so excited and so proud of my locks. I never wore a wig. I don't even think I wore my little chemo beanies that I had purchased over the winter to keep my head warm. I was no longer even wearing those. I didn't care. You could see everything, but I was just so proud of these locks. So let me see. Is there anything else that I could tell you about Sisterlocks? You can color them. I know people that do. I don't recommend it, but you definitely have to go to someone who is experienced in coloring Sisterlocks. I wouldn't just go to a regular stylist. That's what I did. I went to 2 different stylists. I would go to somebody who, and I think on the Sisterlocks website, they have like information for colorists who, consultants who have, I believe, taken the training course for coloring locks. But that is what I would recommend is, going to somebody who knows how to color Sisterlocks. The last thing, this is very, very important. When I went to the training, I was the only student. Wait a minute. No, maybe there was one more. I think there might have been two of us that did not have locks. Everybody else had locks. And there was this one student who was very opinionated about things. So much so that Dr. Cornwell even said something to her at one point. And our master consultant, Cassandra, even told us a story about her experience. So one thing I just want you to keep in mind when you're looking for a lock consultant, just because your lock consultant does not have Sisterlocks does not mean that they don't know what they're doing. It doesn't mean anything other than they don't have them. So Cassandra would wear these big head wraps, and they were beautiful. They were regal. And, you know, at the time I had my short little TWA, and I was in the grow out phase, and seeing all of those other women with their long, beautiful locks, I had FOMO big time, but you know, I was growing my hair out. And so the one student was just like, I wouldn't go to anybody that doesn't have Sisterlocks, and, you know, and so Cassandra told her story, and basically she suffered from alopecia. And so she didn't have any hair. And, you know, you have to like shed that opinion, because I've gone to many a hairstylist, and sometimes their hair isn't done, you know, because they're doing everybody else's hair. Some people may not, that just might not be for them. But there were people in the class, students who were there because they were going so that they could do their mom's hair or something like that, but they just weren't interested. It doesn't mean anything. So I want you to remove that thought from your head, because, you know, somebody could be going through cancer treatment and have chemo, and everybody isn't just going to come out and tell you the reason that they don't have Sisterlocks. So I want you to be, you know, mindful of that, and not just automatically dismiss somebody because they aren't wearing the style that you're going for, because there could be any number of reasons. So keep that in mind. But let me see, was there anything else that I wanted to tell you? I don't know. I'm going to put the link in the site, or in the comments to the site, so that you can go, you can look, have all of your questions answered. But that's my hair. This is my journey. This is my second set, and I am 15 months into this second set, and it's been, you know, a journey. I'm still like, okay, I don't know why it's growing like this, because I started with it the same length, but the back grows faster than the sides. So this is how it looks. And, you know, this is, you know, immediately shampooed. And I really love when I first get it, you know, shampooed. I got some, you know, this is about how long it is. So I don't think they've fallen just yet, but they're getting there and getting length. When I started, again, 3 inches. So who knows how long it is if it wasn't in the lock. But yeah, I love them. They're very freeing. I get more compliments than when I had them the first time, I think, because of the color. So if you are contemplating going gray, or if you're coloring your hair, girl, just stop, because let me tell you, I've gotten compliments from males in China. I've gotten compliments from white men in Sweden. I mean, white men on the cruise ship, black men, black women, you name it. Beautiful hair is beautiful hair. And so I wish, you know, I had decided to just embrace my gray sooner, but I understand that I did when I did, and it's a journey and it's a process for everybody. So you will get there when it's your time. The Sisterlocks, best decision ever. Yes, best decision ever. So thanks for watching, and I'm gonna talk to y'all tomorrow. Take care.